Hey everyone, it's Jerry again, back with some more dream tips. This time about reality checks. Wanted to use this powerful symbol, fake gun, safety on. Anyone who noticed that, you get extra points. Anyways, want to use this powerful symbol to kind of, wake you up just how serious, this whole dreaming thing can be. Because if you think about what the gun really is, it's a tool, it's a mechanism. Despite any kind of political views, it was used as a hunting device before, but also as a symbol of aggression, as much as it is a useful tool, of sorts. Just depends on your association once again. Either way, having one pointed at you, when you start off a scene, such as say in a dream, isn't necessarily the most, pleasant way to quote unquote wake up. I'm gonna set my symbol down now. So here we are, talking about the reality check, which is one way you can say, wake yourself up, to become lucid, to have a lucid dream, to help induce a lucid dream. Okay? So to do that, though, we have to kind of think about, well, what is a reality check? What the hell does that mean? Even in waking life, what does that mean? It means to become aware of perceived unusual or anomalous events or occurrences. Pretty much it. Or some might say surreal, if you will. But in dreamland, I guess everything is kind of surreal. So I guess it doesn't really apply. But, unusual or anomalous. Because, sometimes our consciousness is duped during dreams. To think something is usual. And this is where the trick comes in, of the reality check. Because you have to think to yourself, like even in your waking conscious life, haven't you ever been in a spot where the scene was just so unusual that you're like, wow, was this a dream? Did that really happen? Your friend's like, yeah, man, I saw that too. Stuff ain't that strong, Anyways, depends on your crowd, I guess. Anyways, you get my point. Am I dreaming? I think it was reality checking. The only reason why that happened is because you thought you saw something weird. And the same thing goes, in dreamland. So I guess the next question is like, well, how do you do that? How do you, especially in this place where you just got done saying, everything's weird. So how can you pick out, how do you know? I think all of us been there where we're like, it's the weirdest scene, but we weren't able to wake up because we didn't think it was weird. We're like, oh yeah, we thought that was just fine. But that guy just turned into a goat. So the most useful way to do this, and if you saw my other video, basic dreaming, 1, 2, 3, interpretation, and so forth. I talk about associations and how to build your own association, and in there, I talk about using your desk that you're at right now, maybe viewing this, and but for adventuring or just kind of whatever travels or just having fun, the desk might not be the most practical tool to use all the time, or else you end up just having a whole bunch of dreams at your desk. It's kind of boring. So I suggest using something that you see every day, or maybe that you wear every day. Like a lot of people wear a watch every day. Use your watch. Use your cell phone. A lot of us tend to, if we look down and see our shoes, use your shoes. Start thinking about what that means to you. What do your shoes mean to you? If they're really nice, you're like, oh yeah, these are my nice shoes. They're comfortable. When you look down in your dream, it's like, are these my comfortable shoes? Oh no, hey wait, I shouldn't be wearing shoes at all. I'm supposed to be asleep. Or with your watch, for instance. Or the cell phone. It's like, did I just make my cell phone, transform, into a transformer who is now, breakdancing to the Mexican radio song. I'm on the Mexican radio. Okay, I'll stop that. I'm sorry. But you get my drift. Same thing with the watch. Can I make my watch shoot fireworks? And, wave a little flag or something. Stuff like that. Use your everyday associations. Use everything you always see to help wake yourself up, to give yourself a reality check. Is that unusual? Did that thing just break down? Did my PDA just break danced? Yeah, probably. It's like, the firework watch. It usually doesn't come standard on most watches. If it does, I'm wildly out of the loop. So, and here's where I kind of want to diverge just a little bit, on the subject of watches. Because, like, this jives, what I just said jives with a lot of, techniques that are kind of out there. But at the same time, there's a lot of myths that I've seen develop out of these very useful techniques. I'm not saying these techniques are bad, okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't do any of these things, or any of these things are quote-unquote wrong, okay? What I'm saying is that they are kind of myths, and they are associations that we build. So, like for instance, a lot of people believe that one of the reality checks that works every time is looking at the clock. Looking at your watch. Is the time right? It might be. That's the thing. It can and does happen. And it's really not that wild, because people say, oh, you can't really see symbols. Well, it's about association more than it's symbols, okay? The symbols are a byproduct of association. So it's all about association. So, it's really not that outlandish, because, think about how many of you out there who tend to get up at a regular time. Sometimes, how many times have you woke up without your alarm being on? Or just before your alarm. You always wake up before your alarm now. That's your subconscious doing it. We're talking about dreams. Dreams are subconscious communication. Would clocks work? Yeah, I think they do. So yeah, that's my point. Don't build the association that clocks don't work, else they'll never work for you. And it's a useful tool sometimes to know, while you're in the middle of a dream, it's like, well, what time is it? Oh, wow. Great. I'm getting a great night's rest. This is beautiful, As opposed to like, oh, I'm still sleeping, It can happen. So it does take a little bit of focused attention sometimes, but like I said, it is a myth. They do work sometimes, a lot of times. And the other one that I hear a lot about too is the silver cord. A lot of people ask about that. Well, about the silver cord you project, or out-of-body experiences, or even lucid dreams, depending on where you're at. No, never seen it. Never had a use for one. To me, it's kind of like a leash. Why would you want to be on a leash for? You can find your way back. It's not a geographic thing here, It's like a big intertwined loop of contextual links that all come down into one somehow. I don't have a grand unified theory, sorry. But you don't need the cord. The cord is really kind of a conduit of fear, because you're saying like, oh, I'm afraid that I'm going to kind of die in an energetic form. It's like, well, where are you going to go? Energetic heaven? Man. Yeah. My point exactly. So, you're not going to die. You're not going to die, okay? Physical body's breathing, you're cool. You don't need the cord. Cut the cord, man. Let it go. Alright. On to the next dream myth. Okay. Breathe. Don't move. Else you might forget every single cool thing that just happened. I think. Don't. Moving? Okay. It's gone. Forget it. I'm just kidding. You see what I'm saying, though? How many times have you heard this? Like, oh, don't move. Don't move at all. Don't blink. Don't go to the bathroom. Watch yourself if you have to. Pull every little morsel of information out. But just don't move. Okay, that's not... So what you can do is lay there all day? Part of this whole thing about dreams is, integration. It's about life itself. How can you do that? If you're sitting there waiting, for more information to come that you're just not going to get, because maybe it might be about the day that's about to unfold. And precognitive dreams aren't really that outlandish either. We tend to know what we're going to do tomorrow, and sometimes we tend to dream about stuff we're going to do the next day, which happens to be the stuff we did yesterday. So maybe you haven't done it yet. And you're never going to do it if you're sitting there going, I understand, like I said, you will lose stuff if you just kind of hop up and think, oh yeah, I'm Mr. Memory or Mrs. Memory, and I have rock solid memory. Like, what the hell was my dream just about? Damn it, I shouldn't have moved. See, that is true. It is true. There is parts of it, but you can't just sit there for too long. What you need to know is how to pull that information out. If you want to know how to pull that information